All right. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about something that every relationship has to talk about eventually. And for some relationships, it's pretty rough and pretty hard to talk about. But we're going to talk about it today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is?
What is it?
We're going to talk about money, 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 money.
Ooh,
Money.
oh
Yeah,
boy.
yep, we're going to talk about money.
Oh
Yep.
man. Oh goodness.
Hmm.
The coins, the
Yep.
paper.
Hmm.
Whew.
Oh, man. What you got to talk about?
Oh my goodness. Where do we even start?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning. How did you learn about money? Like, how did you grow up? Was it something that y'all talked about when you were a kid, or how did you learn about money?
Um, I didn't learn much about money.
Okay.
Growing up, yeah, didn't learn much about money.
Okay.
Just besides going to school and counting and
Yeah.
addition and subtraction and stuff. But
Mhm.
outside of that, I didn't learn much about money.
Yeah.
Um, I knew I was well taken care of.
Mhm.
I know my parents took care of me very well. And I thought we were balling out of control, to be honest with you. Not like we like stupid rich or anything, but
Mhm.
like just we had all our needs taken care of.
Mhm.
I never wanted for anything. I never had a need for anything. If I did, I got it, and we just was straight, you know. So outside of that, I didn't know much about money at all.
Wow.
You know.
Okay. Um, growing up, not quite similar, but yeah, I didn't think my parents were like balling out of control, but
Hmm.
all the needs were met. If we were broke, I didn't know it. I
Yeah.
said we, like,
Right.
like I had the money.
Right.
If my parents were broke, I didn't know it because they
Yeah.
didn't really discuss that with us, but I did grow up knowing about Dave Ramsey and financial freedom, and I knew if I ever wanted to get a car, I should go through a credit union and make sure that loan is 4 years or less to pay back. So, and get a fixed interest rate. Like, I knew those type of things,
Hmm.
and we were always taught to tithe
Hmm.
from a young age, give our 10% to God.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I didn't know a whole lot about money growing up,
Yeah.
but those were kind of like the basic things that I was aware of.
Hmm.
But I didn't know about credit cards,
No.
didn't really learn about that until college, and still didn't really know about that in college. It was like, oh, I can get a free t-shirt if I sign up for this credit card.
Right.
And here we are, 20 something years later with the same credit card, so,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Pretty much the same. Yep. Didn't know much about credit and stuff like that until I
Yeah.
got older and
Mhm.
got my own
Mhm.
and learned the hard way.
Right.
You
Right.
know. But I had to learn stuff as I went along life.
Mhm.
You know. But yeah, just like you said, just growing up, like I say, I knew my parents wasn't like crazy rich or anything, but it's just um, what I saw, what
Mhm.
my perception was. Just
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't have a want or a need for anything. I always got it. Um, we always had a RV.
Mhm.
We had an RV growing up. My dad still got one, and I remember kids saying like, "Oh, there go Jimmy, Mr. Rich Boy over here." I'm like, "Rich boy? What are you talking about? Your dad got an RV and stuff in the yard and stuff." I'm like, "What does that mean?" So, I mean, I don't care. Well, you got on the felines and I'm like, okay. I just asked my mom and she gave it for me because I
Yeah.
did good in school. What's wrong with that? So
Right.
like, nah, you Mr. Rich Boy. I'm like, okay, man, whatever.
I definitely had felines growing up and LA gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like the tennis shoes
Yeah,
Yeah.
tennis shoe game was on
It
point,
was
you
on
know.
point. Yeah.
I remember fourth, fifth grade had the black and white British Knights, you
I
know.
had British Knights too.
Yeah. Couldn't tell me nothing, you know.
But I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think, well, I mean, growing up, I wasn't really into name brand stuff or whatever. It's kind of like, you need this and it fits you and we can pay for it. It was
Exactly.
like kind of like that. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, you got on the freshest or the
Yeah.
newest or anything like that,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. There's only one pair of shoes that I did not get and I wanted, and those were the Jordans. I didn't get the Jordans, but when I got older, please believe, please believe, I bought them for myself. I'm like, I finally got them, mine.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. But other than that, man, but yeah, I was always known as the rich kid. I mean, I gotta tell this story, but like, I remember when I got my license. And you know, got his license. You know, they want a car, right?
Right, right.
So I was I was luckily able to get a car that I wanted and liked, which was a Chevy Cavalier. And it was
Okay.
bright red.
Ooh,
Yes.
good. They saw you coming, huh?
Saw me coming, and I had a job at that time with Circuit City.
Okay.
Later on,
You
and
old.
yeah, I am. Yeah, a lot of y'all don't even know what Circuit City is. I just thought about that. But yeah, I had a job. I hooked it up. Put rims on it and put some sound in it and everything. And I remember during the summer, it was a girl that I was trying to talk to, and she said, "You know what, Jimmy? I like you, but I'm not gonna talk to you." I was like, "Why? Why you gonna talk to me? What's up?" She said, "Are you a drug dealer?" I'm like,
Oh,
"What? What is?"
yeah, all that flashy stuff in
Yeah, I
your
had all the
car.
flashy stuff, and that was the time Cash Money was popular and Juvenile was popular. I had the bling bling and the all that, I said I paid for this stuff with my own hard-earned money. Okay, I'm not a drug. Night. She like, I don't believe you. I'm like, oh my god. Okay, okay, what else? But that's what I mean. Like I was just well taken care of, man. And my dad, even though he didn't, they didn't necessarily teach me about money. But he taught me about like being a hard worker,
Yeah,
and you already know, you can see that.
yeah,
But he taught me that at an early age, so I never stopped like working, and I was just able to like just get money myself.
yeah,
But yeah, that's how I
yeah,
was treated.
yeah.
I don't,
Oh, drug dealer Jimmy.
drug dealer Jimmy. I'm like, really? Do I even look like a drug dealer?
No, and that's why you were probably good at it.
Hey, they got smooth drug dealers out there. Everybody ain't like hardcore. I understand. I
That's
understand.
hilarious
Yeah,
to me.
that is. I ain't gonna never forget. I was like, what? Are you serious? Okay, okay.
So
But
it's
yeah.
interesting how we, grew up with money and even how we handled money as young adults, and things like that. Shoes were my thing. I,
Yeah.
love shoes and
Mm-hmm.
would just, oh, put on the credit card, pay it
Yeah.
later. And
Yeah.
that was the worst mistake.
Yeah.
So just
Um,
spending and just,
yeah. I think that was probably the negative side of um, having parents like take care of you so much,
yeah,
because
yeah,
you get older
yeah,
and you're used to having it your way,
yeah,
and regardless of what your finances look like, you still want to get that item or whatever, and you
right,
don't want to wait, and
yeah,
because you never had to wait before.
right,
So I think that's probably the negative side of it, just
yeah,
not being able to discipline yourself
yeah,
and learn how to tell yourself no.
yeah,
Or hear the word no.
yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, because even though I wasn't a bad kid, it wasn't like I didn't deserve whatever I wanted or whatever, because I always did what I was supposed to do. But at the same time, I've never been without. So when you get older and your finances not looking a certain way, you still gonna feel like I'm gonna get it anyway.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true.
So I do think about that a lot with our kids when I see them. Like, nah, I can't get you everything you want
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want you to grow up feeling like you're entitled to getting these things if you ain't got the
Work
money for
for
it,
it,
you know?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, growing up, like my parents didn't want me to have a job while I was in high school or whatever. They're like, your job is to go to school,
True.
get this education. But best believe, as soon as I graduated from high school, you need to get a job. You need to do X, Y, Z. So that's how my parents kind of operated. And even in that, I remember living with my parents, and I would have to pay rent.
Mm.
I mean, it wasn't much. It was
Mm-hmm.
like not the rent that was actually out there to like live in a, a space by myself, but like $300 or something like that. I had to pay it. And I remember going to my parents and asking if I could like have a deferment
Mm-hmm.
of some sort for a few months so I could pay down my credit card because I had racked up the credit card. And I remember, asking, can I have like, a little reprieve on rent or whatever? And I remember presenting my dad this whole spreadsheet. I
Mm-hmm.
had like a presentation. I showed him like how the bills I had, what I planned on doing with the money that they're gonna let me, defer for a while. And I had like a whole plan, a whole presentation and everything in front of my dad. And he was like, okay, let me think about it. I was like, okay. And my dad's let me think about it is not like, oh, give me a couple of days. Okay. It's like, give me some time.
Oh wow.
Okay. And I remember going to my mom, was like, have you talked to dad? What did he say? What did he say? She's like, I don't know. I haven't, but he hasn't said anything. Finally talked to my dad. I'm like, Dad, what do you say? And he was like, you can pay half. And baby, I was so upset. I'm like, really? You can't just give me a few months not to pay it? Like, what is that? I mean, like, I'm your daughter. Come on. It's me, Jen. It's your girl. In the words of Kiki Palmer,
Um,
it's your girl.
he didn't care.
It was like
Nope.
half. But I think in that moment, it showed me, okay, what can I do with this half?
Mm-hmm.
And I got that credit card paid down, and I saved some money.
Yep.
And then years later, he told me, he's like, I never spent the money you gave me. I was saving it. He saved it for me. So like, I thought he taught me a very valuable
Yeah, he
lesson in
did.
that moment. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to learn how to do more with less.
True.
So
True.
come on and pay me my half.
Yep.
This half ain't really doing nothing for me anyway, but pay the half. So it did teach me a very valuable lesson.
True. Yeah, my
So,
dad did me the same way.
oh, he
Yeah.
did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was after high school, I remember still struggling with money and stuff, like trying to pay stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
And then my car broke down, and I think it needed like a new like something with the radiator was like messing up with that. And
Mm-hmm.
I took it to the shop and they told me the price, and I went to my dad and said, hey, you think you can like either give me the money for it or something like that? He was like, no, I can't give you anything. I'm like, well, I'm supposed to get to work then, He was like, you'll figure it out. I'm like, I'll figure it out. All right, okay. But like just like you, I was mad.
Yeah, you
I was
mad.
I was mad because I was like, it's not like I'm doing something wrong. I'm like, I'm just want to get the car fixed so I can go to work. But I figured it out. Like I had a credit card at that time, and I went ahead and did it that way. But I paid it off.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like I didn't want to use the credit card. But like I said, it taught me a lesson to like just be a man and handle it and stop
Yeah.
running to your parents all the time. So like I said, I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. So like now I can face any situation with no problem and know how to handle it. So
Those life lessons
yep.
be life lessoning.
Oh
Okay.
yes. Oh yes.
For sure.
Oh yeah. All right. So when you meet someone
Mm-hmm.
and you guys are in a relationship and it's going well,
Mm-hmm.
when do you think you should bring up the topic of money?
When did we bring it up?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it came up pretty early in the relationship?
It did?
Uh, I think so.
Okay.
Not like the first time we talked or whatever, but
No, no.
I'll say after we made it official. I guess
Mm-hmm.
we kind of had a money talk. I think I remember asking you questions about money and asking if you tithe because that
Yeah,
was
I remember
really
that one.
important to
Yeah.
me. And you're like, well, how do you tithe? I'm like, it's a part of the budget. What do you mean? I was like, it's like a line item in the budget. You just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you didn't kind of grow up that way, so
Mm-mm. I grew up that way.
you did grow up
Yeah.
that way?
Yeah,
Okay.
my mom taught me about tithing,
Okay.
and I tithe, off the gross,
Mhm.
and I did it. I know I did it when I was like 18.
Mhm.
Not sure about below that, but I do remember my mom making me tithe
Mhm.
when we go to church. Always putting something in the envelope,
Mhm.
and as I got older, I did tithe. So I don't recall it being an issue at all.
I remember it being an issue. You're like, well, how can you do that? How are you able to tithe? I remember it coming up in a conversation.
I don't remember that. I
What?
don't remember that.
What?
I
There's
don't
something
remember
you
that.
don't
No,
remember?
I don't remember that. No, I don't remember
I
not
remember
tithing.
I remember us having a conversation about tithing and like me asking like, do you tithe? Or like, yeah, I tithe this and I, every Sunday. Like, and you're like, how do you do it? How are you able to do it every week? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's a line item. I just do it. It's part of the budget. It's okay. We can move
Oh,
on.
I don't remember that though. No, I always
You
remember.
just been tithing so long. You've been with the Lord so
That's
long,
right. That's
and you've
right.
been
I may
tithing.
not get a lot of stuff right, but
Woo.
tithing ain't one of them. I
You
remember
just been
tithing.
tithing all
I
your
remember
life.
tithing.
All
Yes.
your life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a tither. Huh?
That's right.
Okay. Okay. I'll
Oh
let you have
man.
that one because you let me have plenty, so I'll let you have that one.
Okay. I wish I had receipts now.
I know, right?
Anywho, moving on.
Moving on.
Yes. What?
When did money come up in our relationship?
Okay. When did money come up in our relationship?
Like, did we talk about it a whole lot while we were dating?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think we did.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Transparency was very hard at the beginning,
Mhm.
and money was a hard topic to talk about.
Yeah.
And we would talk about it, and we would get frustrated, and we would kill it, and we would not
Mhm.
talk about it. And we may try again later on, same thing.
Mhm.
And it got to the point we didn't talk about money at all.
Yeah. We
Hmm.
kind of just did our own thing because, like,
Yeah.
I am very spreadsheet driven. I need to see the numbers. I need to know what's in the account. Like, I'm probably still the only person in the world that carries a transaction ledger, because I need to know down to the penny what I have. That's just, I've always been like that. On the other hand, my husband was like, it's all in my head.
Hmm.
I know. I know what's in my account. It's here.
Yeah.
He didn't want to write nothing out. And I was like trying to like, let me see what bills you have. Let me see what bills I have. Let's put them together. Just do this. And it was just, it did. It always ended up in some kind of argument because we just could not get on the same page about it. So we have been very separate up until I'll say this year. It's how we handled things like I got my bills, you got your bills, and then we have things we, have together
Hmm.
and just very separate. You handle your stuff, I'll handle my stuff, and let's move on with life and not know what each person has. Very separate.
Very separate.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only
Hmm.
joint thing about us was our joint bank accounts. We have a joint checking, joint savings, but he got his own checking and savings. I have my own checking and savings, and it's kind of how we
Yeah.
move throughout,
Mm-hmm.
the finances.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
All right. You gonna play the people like that?
What you
We
mean?
having real conversation, right?
We are having real
Okay.
conversation.
All right.
Go ahead, say what you need to
Everything
say.
you said was true. It's
Mhm.
just how it all happened, you know.
Okay, how it happened then? What's your recollection?
All right. Okay, so what I recall, guys,
Mm.
what I recall is when we first got married and we started having this conversation about money
Mhm.
and how to handle the money and stuff. So she was talking about, we need to have a joint account and stuff like that. And I said, okay, we can do that. Um, I put, I put my money in the account and then you put your money in the account. And then she was like, no, I put money in there for the bills and you put money in for, for the other bills that you're going to take care of because I want my money and I work hard for this money and stuff like that. I said, oh, okay. So you're going to have your account and I have mine? She said, yes, that's what we're going to have. I said, oh, okay. Now, I was like, because in my mind, I was like, hey, you ain't said nothing to me. My name's Jimmy Hustle. There's one thing about me. I know how to make money. So if you want to play that game, by all means, let's do it. So, I mean, we did that. We put money in the joint account. And like I said, she has her account. I have mine. Which, to this day, that's not a problem.
Mhm.
The problem lied where, or it came into place where we would have these situations come up where we had to take care of the household and we didn't have no money because nobody's talking to each other about the future. Nobody's talking about what if this happens, what if that happens. And this was before kids.
Mm.
And we was having problems like that. So then when the kids came into play, it made it worse.
Absolutely.
And we still not talking to each other about money. It's like, what is going on here, And it just made everything worse. It made everything worse as time went on.
Mhm.
So, like she said, we haven't sat down and had a conversation about money until like, almost, I want to say this year, but it's been more, maybe like 2 years or something like that, where we
But
actually sat down and like talked about it.
like sat down and wrote everything out
Yeah,
this year.
yeah.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
After 15 years of being married, this year is like the first time that we just wrote everything out
Yeah,
and had a game plan. I
yeah,
think that was the biggest thing. Like we talked about it like, oh, make sure this gets paid, make sure that gets paid, but to have a game plan on how we're going to tackle some of the debt we have.
mm-hmm.
I think this is the first year that we actually had a plan.
Yeah, true, true.
Which, oh gosh, we are not financial experts by any means, okay? Let's just get that out the way.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure stuff out as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll agree with how that happened. I can see BC Jennifer saying those things.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
I can see that.
I remember like the main one that really drove me up the wall was we had, I think you wanted to go on a trip or something.
Mm.
Yeah. You wanted to go on a trip. And I told her no.
Mm.
Because I'm like, how are you going to go on a trip and we ain't got no money? That don't make no kind of sense. And she said, I want to go. And we
You
got
make it
this,
sound like I was like
like,
had a temperature like I want to go. No, that's not how that happened. But continue. I'll let you
no,
continue
you wasn't
on.
having a tantrum like laying on the floor kicking your feet or nothing. No, but it's like I told you though, but you were still like, you didn't accept that.
I didn't.
And like I said, it turned into a argument.
Yeah, we went and talked to Pastor about that
Yeah, and
one.
we went and had a meeting with Pastor about it. And
We did.
I was sitting in there like, I'm so pissed off right now because we done brought it to our pastor about not having money, and that really like I'm like, this is what we arguing about? Like,
Hmm.
you can't go on a trip, seriously?
And it wasn't even about the trip. I think it was more for me in like the grand scheme of things. It just wasn't like, oh, I can't go on the trip. It was bigger. Like, we can't get these finances together. Like, it was like it's always something underlying.
Yeah, and
And
that's
yeah,
what made me mad
yeah.
because our finances are so out of whack, and to the point we're sitting here having a conversation with our pastor about her not going on the trip. Where if our finances were in order, she would be able to go.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be no issue. So that's what I was mad about,
Mhm.
in general. And I remember like being so mad. I was just like, okay, man, I got to get something together. We got to get this stuff in order. And I just started working on my finances
Mhm.
myself to the point where I could, you know, be able to say, hey, if you want to go out, yes, go ahead.
Mhm.
We got it. It's good.
Yeah.
So, but that's what made me mad and made me turn around. Yeah,
So as you can see, it was a very messy beginning, and
very.
it's still I won't say it's messy, but I think we have more conversation
Mm-hmm.
about it now than we previously would because I didn't want to argue about money. I just didn't want to argue about money. So like let me just keep moving how I'm moving. He can keep moving how he's
Yeah.
moving. But that it does not work.
No, it
That
doesn't.
does not work in the long
No.
run, especially when you have kids and kids are
Mm-hmm.
involved and you got to take care of the kids and you
Mm-hmm.
got daycare and you got extracurricular stuff happening and stuff like that. So it doesn't it doesn't help to
No, it
do
doesn't.
that.
And I know for me, it's like, dang, I have a wonderful marriage, a
Hmm.
wonderful wife, and this is like the only thing that gets in the way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we need to whoop this demon's behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's where I feel about
Yeah. I agree with
it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked a little bit about our money situation and how we were at the beginning of our relationship and even a little bit how we're dealing with money now, but how are we really dealing with money now? How do we handle those conversations? Do we budget? Do we what are we doing now?
Um, I feel like now we are talking to each other more.
Mhm.
Um, we are now trying to develop a game plan on how we're going to tackle our debt
Mhm.
and how we're going to handle financial situations.
Yeah.
Um, and I believe we kind of like pull each other to the side like every week or so and just say, hey, um, how you doing with paying this? How you doing with this? Oh, we got to pay for this. Or,
Mhm.
our oldest son, he got this coming up. I got to pay this, and this.
Mhm.
Is it all right if I take it out the account?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, that's fine. And just stuff like that. So I believe we talk stuff out more
Yeah.
and just handle it together instead of just doing it.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Um I probably would want to do more. Like, I would love to hold quarterly budget meetings and things like that. And he knows that about me. But
Mm-hmm.
I also know that's like not his style. So I'm trying to compromise and accommodate those things because I am very like, I need to see the numbers. I need to see things get like ticked off or ticked away.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm that's how my mind is driven. I just kind of want to like, I like checklists. I need to check it off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we did this. What do we do now? Do I need to redo the budget? Do I need to, yeah, I would love to have quarterly meetings on that. And I just know that's not his thing. It's not his
Okay.
thing.
So I will say this right now on camera.
Okay.
I don't mind having the quarterly meetings,
Okay.
and we can have those.
Okay.
So you got it on camera.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Um,
Y'all are my witnesses.
yes, you are the
Hmm.
witness, so hold me accountable. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I will say this that I know us as men, we don't like sharing a lot or being transparent about our finances, our money, and stuff like that. But I can say that since I've opened up to my wife about finances and what's going on in the household and what we need to do to take care of it, um, she has, stepped up in certain areas and made stuff happen quicker and doing things that I wouldn't have been able to do either on my own or as fast as if in an instance where I would have did it by myself. So I would say it's very important to share with your wife what's going on, good or bad.
Yes.
Please do that. So I know like the things we had or still have going on. I just felt like being the man of the house, I need to handle it. And I don't need to let her know what's going on. I don't want to put that weight on her shoulders. So I'm thinking in good terms, like I don't want her to stress out about money when that's my job or that's the way I felt. And like I finally gave it up and I said, you know what, I'm just letting her know what's going on, good or bad. And she took it in and then I started seeing her step up and do some things and I'm like, dang, nah, I ain't gotta worry about it no more. So it's like, dang man, it's like I don't want to put that burden on her, but at the same time, we're a team. And I have to remember that moving forward. And like I say to all my men, like if you're the husband, don't be afraid to just share that with your wife. Just yes, at the end of the day, it's our job to make, to be the head of the household, but that doesn't mean that you can't let your spouse know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be your sugar mama.
Okay. Right. I ain't too proud to beg, so I don't care.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, the money thing, it doesn't cause me, I think it caused me more stress not knowing. Like, I just need to know. I need to know it all so I know how to work towards it. And, I'm always trying to find something a little less expensive. So if I gotta switch something up to bring the bill down, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to do it. Or if I have to like go to several stores so I can maximize how much we spend on groceries, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna find ways to cut costs
Yeah.
because we're in a season where we need to be saving and getting this debt down. So absolutely, I'm glad you finally felt comfortable enough to tell me,
Yeah.
and
But I mean, that's the part, because I was like, I can do it on my own. I can make it happen. But if I tell her, she'll find a different way, a better method.
Yeah.
Or a faster method,
Yeah.
besides me just working to pay it off. Like
Right.
I know it'll happen. I can see it happening. I see the path, but she can find a better path, if you let her know.
Yeah. Having the conversation has been very helpful for us and like just laying it all out on the table. Good, bad, ugly, pretty, whatever it is, just laying it out on the table. And we do communicate a lot more about, okay, this is what's going on with Jamal, or Jason has this or whatever. And, I'm going to find me a coupon. I'm not paying full price for nothing. Why? It's there for me to use. So I'm going to find a coupon. Or if my job offers, a health program where you can get gift cards, I'm going to work it and I'm going to use the gift cards to buy groceries. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. So, yes, I am here to be a helpmate. That's what I'm here for. We're supposed to be helping each other and no one should lack. We're not going to lack.
Yeah.
Because we're in it together and we're helping each other get through it. Because when we were in the debt the first time, you helped pay off student loans for me. Like you paid yours off and then you paid mine off. So we're in it together. We're not in it alone.
True.
So,
True.
so how do we move from just surviving to building together?
Mm.
Like, what are some of your financial goals and dreams? Like, what are some things that you would love to accomplish, but you know, we kind of have to move from survival mode to, building mode.
Mm.
It's a deep question.
That is a deep question.
Mm-hmm.
um, that's something I think about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know right now we're in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to pay off debt, and then we got this nice bundle of joy. This 1-year-old, and he has daycare fees and diapers and all kind of stuff like that you have to pay for, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes a toll on your paycheck
Yeah,
real bad. I don't know if I'm just working for daycare or
you are.
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Jesus Christ. I don't honestly know how I'm making it besides the grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
So we are definitely in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank God that I'm still able to pay my bills and stuff like that, because I honestly do not know how I'm doing it. But yeah. I think I'm gonna throw a party or something when when
Listen,
daycare is over, man. I don't Jesus Christ,
we got
man.
what? 3 more years? Two more
Two?
years. Two. Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, but just the good thing is it keeps getting lower and
Yeah,
lower
it gets
each
lower. Yeah, it
age.
do. It do. Thank
But
God for that. But
still,
still,
my
man.
God,
Jeez.
take a pause for the daycare. My Lord.
So, so you got that, and then
Mm-hmm.
everyday life expenses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard to save money and stuff like that. But so that's why I feel like we're in survival mode. But
Yeah.
then, um, when I think about building, um, I'm thinking about that now. I'm just like reading up on stuff on how to save money, how to increase your finances, um, just in every avenue, every aspect that I can possibly think of.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do have, when I do get the blessing of not paying for daycare, I can go in and start building.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's gonna take what 2-3 years. That's fine.
Yeah.
We just hold on until then. But when that time happens,
Oh yes.
oh yes, I'm gonna be very happy,
Yeah.
very very happy. And but right now in this phase, I'm just learning. I'm just focusing on when that comes. So when it comes, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are definitely in survival mode, but I do feel like we still have room to begin to build.
Mm.
It may be small little things. Like, I know one change I made a couple of years ago, I think right before our youngest was born, was my insurance and setting up an HSA.
Mm-hmm.
And having that HSA has been a huge help to pay. It paid for my entire pregnancy with him. So we didn't really lack for anything when I went on maternity leave and things like that. It helped. It was a huge tax break.
Mm-hmm.
So I think making those small steps is helping us in the back end. You may not see it immediately, but it helps, on the back end. Also, saving money into like a high yielding savings account has been helpful.
Mm-hmm.
It just automatically comes out of your paycheck. You don't see it. It's like a bill. Like that just helps kind of build towards some of that savings that we're trying to do as well as pay off the debt. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of been helpful as well. Like he says, he reads a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts. We've read Dave Ramsey's book.
Mm-hmm.
We've read a couple of his books
Yeah.
about financial freedom. I listen to Anthony O'Neill a lot. I also have listened to this young lady named Tiffany, the Budgetnista is what her name is. and just trying to find different ways to cut costs and,
Mm-hmm.
kind of build the savings so we can, when we do get to the point where, okay, the debt is gone, what can we build? What kind of, the goal is to leave a legacy for the kids,
Yeah.
for your children's children. That's what the Bible says,
Yes.
to leave a legacy for your children's children.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to build that solid foundation in order to do that.
Yeah. And like you just said, like I focus on doing those baby steps that Dave Ramsey talks about. So I do have my minimum of $1,000 in my account, and I focus on paying off, the cards and stuff like that. When I get a little extra, so I do those things, and I also like if your job has a matching 401k, I tap into that, so I make sure that's rolling. So outside of that, just focusing on my business and stuff like that, making sure that I do that, regardless of what's going on in my life. I'm gonna say this to my entrepreneurs. Regardless of what's going on in your life, whatever you believe your business is supposed to be, do that, regardless of what's going on. Do not waver from it. Do not. I don't care. I don't care what it looks like. I tell people all the time, like, I talk to my other DJ friends, and we always talk about how people don't want to pay our price and stuff like that. And I told them, I say, hey man, I put my prices on my website so they can look at it, and that weeds a lot of people out. On top of that, when people call me and I tell them my price and they try to haggle me and stuff like that, I just I just stay on the phone. I say, hey, that's my price. If you don't want to pay it, that's fine. There's plenty of other DJs out here. But I know what my business is supposed to look like. And I know what I want to look like. So I make sure I look top notch. I know a lot of y'all see me with these suits and ties and all that. That's because I'm trying to attract a certain clientele. I'm not trying to be everybody DJ. And that's how you need to feel about your business. If you're trying to attract a certain person or you want a certain amount, stick to that. It's okay. And we already talked about we in debt. We in debt.
Yeah.
You still can't get me for no $200.
Period.
For no 4 hours.
Huh.
Get off my phone.
Huh. Say it again.
Get off my phone. You will not get me for no $200 for no 5 to 6 hours. That is not what this is. You don't go to Walmart. You don't go to Apple or Best Buy looking for no MacBook talking about, hey, I got $2,000. What's up? No. No. A MacBook is $25,000 to $3,000, baby. You either got it or you don't.
Period.
So don't come to me like that. Business is business. I don't care who you are. And that's how you got to be, man. That's how you got to be. God told me what this is and what it's supposed to look like, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it.
So basically, you're just being obedient to God.
Exactly. That's all you're doing.
Walk in obedience.
Yep. God showed me what it's supposed to look like, and I'm sticking to it. And he hasn't he hasn't showed any situation where I should doubt him. So if I show you these contracts, you'll be like, whoa. And you see me DJing every weekend.
Right.
So what that tell you? It's all up here.
And you're paying for quality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about your belief system. So I believe in God, and God showed me what it is, and that's what I'm sticking to regardless of what the situation is. So moving on back to this.
Baby, you better talk your talk, though. Talk the talk, okay?
We got to stop it. We got to. Because I see a lot of stuff on social media, everybody getting mad about people not paying the price, but that's up to you. It ain't up to the client. You just tell them your price. Now, if you accept it, that's you. That's you. You still got to provide that good service. But I know for me, in order for me to provide excellent service, this is my price. So you either get with it or you don't. But if you get with it, I'm going to make sure you have a great night. That's it.
The man said what he said.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Period.
But that goes back to building. I mean, you're gonna always have these ups and downs. But when you up, then appreciate that and thank God for it. But at the same time, focus on building and not just spending stuff all willy nilly. Like God put you in a position for that reason. He put you in that position for that reason. So don't take it for granted and just make the best of it. And like as for me, when I'm up, I'm gonna make sure that I do the best I can for us to get out of debt and for us to build our legacy. So that's how I see it.
And God, you're royalty. God says that his children, we're royalty.
Yes.
He does not want to see us go without or lacking or, be in debt. That is not his will for our lives.
Not at all.
We are king's kids. So while we're here on earth, he wants us to live. I feel like he wants us to live a wealthy life, whatever your definition of wealthy is. It's not always just money.
No, not at all.
But he wants us to live a rich life, a wealthy life, and he doesn't want to see his kids struggling. I just don't believe that.
No.
So yes, you're gonna have hard times and you're gonna have those lessons you gotta learn to bring yourself up, and God will always provide. But I don't think it's his will for us to be in debt. The Bible says, "Oh, no man nothing." It literally says that in the Bible.
Yeah.
Oh, no man nothing.
Exactly.
Don't owe them anything. So, as curators and managers of what he's given to us, we have to be good stewards of that.
Yes. You should be a good steward of everything.
Everything. That includes your body, help Jesus, your temple, what he gives you, where you live, how you live, the money that he gives you, how you take care of your kids. That's in everything. We're supposed to be good stewards, good managers of what God has given to us. Because at the end of the day, it all belongs to him.
Yeah.
It's not ours.
Nope.
We're just managing it. It's like having a shopping center and you're the manager of the shopping center. If you want someone to come to your shopping center, you're going to make sure that the grass is cut, the parking lot looks good, the roads are paved and smooth, because you want to attract people into the business to spend money. So you have to be a good manager of what God has given you.
Of course. Yeah.
Sorry, I got on a little tangent.
No, it's okay. That's good. It's good stuff.
Whew.
Yeah.
That was a tough topic,
No.
but I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we missed something, please feel free to let us know. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Comment what you thought about this episode. Is there something else that we need to talk about with finances? Let us know. We would love to hear from you.
So please put it in the comments, and hey, if you keep talking good, we might do another video. So you never know.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye.
Peace.